Alright guys, welcome to episode 2 of our Pirate Uber Alice Empire Total War campaign as friends. So we are now going to be dealing with a bunch of battles here on a whole bunch of fronts. So Alsace Loraine has just rebelled, which is fine. Like I mentioned in our previous video, this was pretty much destined to happen. Let's just go through a few things that have happened on this turn. So we are on turn 3. Or turn 4, I should say. We have our militia that spawned in, actually our farm-locked armed citizenry. We're going to move them to the port of Barbados. This will stop the pirates from being able to sabotage it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a small peek. Okay, so we have 3 units of Régiment Étranger as well for the Dutch. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to backpedal back to this area over here. We're going to wait for reinforcements to arrive. And meanwhile, in North America, let's just take a quick look. So it does appear like the army is going to be marching towards Quebec here, which is good. That's what we want to happen. And we should be able to attack this, I think. So this might actually be our first battle right here. It's not. It's going to be on the next turn, I'm assuming. Okay. We're going to sabotage this army as well, so it doesn't move again. So we'll be able to attack it on the next turn. Going to go ahead and upgrade the farms again, because last episode the AI was able to garrison this, which stops the construction. Our missionary is slowly converting the population to Catholicism, and a religious unrest is slowly being dealt with. This is pretty good. Let's take a look here. This is being built. Oh yeah, so Lyon popped up as well. That was the new city that popped up. So Lyon is up. We're going to make another school here so we can research more techs at the same time. We're going to go ahead and create this weaver's house that we wanted to make on the previous turn. And so what's going to happen is once these units are recruited, we're going to start marching onto Alsace Lorraine. We're going to take it from the Germans because they are going to take it. And meanwhile, let's just take a look at the ports in Great Britain. They seem to be up in flames, which is good. I think this one got repaired, though. Let me just take a quick look. It did. Okay, so I'm going to do this. And I'm going to damage it again. Now, I want to make sure that I have enough movement points to come back to the port of Le Havre. Because like I mentioned in the previous episode, Prussia likes to send a few like single or double stack navies to blockade this. So we want to be able to intercept it, should that ever happen. This is good. So now, like I mentioned before, the fact that we're turning this into a trade port, we have to be careful with how we move our navies. As long as all of these ports, but mainly as long as this one here, the port of Portsmouth, remains destroyed, and the port of Amsterdam, none of these nations are going to be capable of producing actual good combat good combat naval units, because all the other ports in the rest of their territories are trade ports. So as long as we don't lose any of our starting ships and we move our navies in a smart manner, we should be okay with just surviving the rest of the game with trade ports, to be honest. We can always make a naval shipyard in Louisville, but if we don't have to, we won't do it until we really find ourselves in a really bad spot. Just take a look in Newfoundland. So we have a food shortage here, which is a little bit unfortunate. So what we could do is next turn, we could start recruiting a unit of firelock armed citizenry. We're going to need one eventually as well to guard the port of St. John's. So we'll do that next turn. And by recruiting a unit, this should go back down to like I think 7 or 8 turns or something like that. So we'll see. So I thought we were going to have a battle. I mean, we might not have one on this turn. Let's take a look over here. We have a pretty crappy minister. We're going to keep him there for now. Let's save our turn. This was turn 4. And yeah, that's pretty much it. No actual fighting. But the fights are going to come up, though. At least next turn, we know for a fact we're going to run into a fight here with the natives. Let's take a look at this army. Okay, so this is the turn where a bunch of nations are going to pop up. So you're going to see it's going to take quite a while for the game to load it. We're also going to be gaining a territory in India, because in Pirate Uber Alles, you have the option to let trading companies be part of your empire instead of letting the AI manage it. So obviously France had a trading company in India, just like Portugal and the British. And so that will be part of our empire on the next turn. So here we have a native nation that attacked New Spain. We'll enter it. I mean, it's like across the plains of the United States, so whatever. We want to honor our treaties. So we'll join. As you can see now, the turn's loading, and this is because all the nations are popping up. So here we go. So we lost Alsace Loraine, that's fine. But out of all the new nations that have popped up, the most important one is going to be our trading company in India, but most importantly, the United States. So this is going to be good. The United States is going to be fighting the 13 colonies and the English. Oh wait, 13 colonies? Oh, they're not at war. They will fight these regions. Once the 13 colonies becomes assimilated by the AI of Great Britain, the United States will fight this off. So we're going to request an alliance, and we're also going to ask for some money. And there we go. We got an extra 1,200 out of it. That was pretty good. And yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of wars that have been declared. A new nation arises. Yeah. Let's get rid of all this crap. These are all declarations of war, recruitment report, that's fine. Okay, so the pirates up top got killed off. They got replaced by the natives, the Inuits. So again, just make sure you have your navy here to stop them from being able to cross, and everything should be okay. Like I mentioned in the previous turn, we have a food shortage, so let's recruit 1 unit of firelock armed citizenry. As you can see, because we're recruiting a unit, there's slightly less people living here because it consumes the population. And so now we have enough to resume Bonavista coming up in 12 turns. This is pretty acceptable. And in 3 turns we get our peasant farms, and also the governor's residency gives a slight bonus to population growth. So that should help us get our town up and running very quickly. As you can see, the natives getting very close to Quebec. So now we're going to move our navy here, and this will block them. And now this army should be heading back down to Cayuga, and then they'll eventually make their way to Niagara. We have our native allies here, the Hurons, that are probably making a play to take over Rupert's Land from the English. That's good, because we don't want to be dealing with the English up top. We want to eliminate multiple fronts if possible. So now let's go ahead. We're actually going to play our real first battle, and let's save the game in case it crashes. We never know. This is turn 5. Let's play this out. We're not going to auto-resolve. We're going to play it out. We don't want to take as many casualties. We want to take the least amount of casualties possible, so that we don't waste our money on reinforcing them. So these are the... This is the native... The native archers. Let's get them close. This camera is a little weird. I feel like it's really zoomed in. I should probably enable the zoom out mod after. So there's no bow units to worry about, so we can literally kite these guys all day. I'll move up my general just in case, but we really won't need them though. So here you'll see like the power that these guys have. Now keep in mind, you don't want to get too close to the natives here if you're going to be shooting at them. They can throw tomahawks at you, so that's something to keep in mind. So you do want to, like, you know, just make sure you don't sit there too close. And you just sit here and, you know, you just pepper them away with arrows, and this is like the easiest thing in the world. And these guys can also fire on the move. And, you know, sometimes the AI will move, sometimes they won't move. It's a bit bizarre, but, you know, it is what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm also going to send a unit on the side here. And the reason why... Okay, so now they're getting close. We just want to make sure they're not throwing tomahawks. I think they might, though. Nope. So these guys, we're going to send them over here. We don't want to let these guys... We don't want to fight the natives again on the campaign map. So once they rout, you really want to chase them down and completely annihilate them to stop them from reforming. And obviously, we don't want to fight them again on the campaign map. So now everything's running away. This is good. We're going to switch them over to melee mode. And for those who don't know, whenever a unit's routing, they essentially, their defense goes down to 0. So that means that they can't block any hits. So I'm going to go ahead and chase these guys down. And there you go. That's our first military battle on the campaign map. That's a wipe. These guys are going to get wiped. 4 out of 160. And that's good enough. There we go. So this right here kind of showcases why these scouts are extremely valuable against the natives. And there we go. No casualties. Full wipe. And we keep pressing the advantage. So we're not going to attack this yet. I'm going to wait for the next stack of scouts to arrive to reinforce. We're going to recruit 4 more, obviously, when we want to keep the train going. I'm going to move my missionary over here. I just want to make sure that Montreal goes up to 100 before I proceed. Although I don't really need to now that I think about it. I could actually move my missionary right now. And it's only going to take 4 turns. This is okay. So, I have a spy over here. I'm going to sabotage the army. We have a 60% chance. Task failed. RIP. I'm going to keep my army here. I'm just... I could take this town immediately, but I'm a little concerned about maybe the natives attacking this farm again. So I'm going to sit here for now. I'm going to wait for my missionary to convert the population a bit more to Catholicism before I make a play. And I'll wait for my second wave of reinforcements to arrive. That's pretty good. Let's see if we got a new minister. Harsh reputation. Okay. Alright, so like I mentioned earlier, we got a region in India. So, a few things to keep a lookout for. We are going to be at war. So, we are at war with the Maratha Confederacy. And we're also probably going to be at war with Mysore. And I'm not even going to pronounce that. But we're going to be at war with these two nations here. So if we take a look at our starting army, it's kind of shitty. The mortar's actually not bad. I'm going to keep the mortar and the cannons, but everything else though, at least the 2 units of militia, I'm going to disband them. We are going to recruit these guys though, because we really want to hold on to this region. It's extremely wealthy. You know, 1,800 per turn is very nice to have in the early game. One thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to destroy the tavern. We don't really need this for 2 reasons. In this mod, I forgot to mention this in my first video, but when you have these taverns, it actually converts the population to atheism. However, if you get this building to its highest level, which is the parks, it actually doesn't convert the population anymore to atheism. So if you are going to make a happiness building, you should be rushing the highest tier for it ASAP. Because as you can see here, we have some pretty decent religious unrest. So we kind of need to be careful about that. And it's only going to get worse, by the way, because atheism is going to become more and more dominant. And if Catholicism doesn't become the dominant religion, we're going to have a bigger amount of religious unrest. And eventually this region will rebel. But I don't want to turn this. I want to keep this as an industrial hub or an area that creates a lot of wealth. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this right off the bat and replace it with an industrial building. And at some point in the campaign, I'll bring a missionary over here to slowly convert it back. I'm going to repair the port over here. I see that it's been damaged. And then we're going to pay attention to France here. So we have our army that's been recruited. We're going to start sending it over to Alsace Loraine. And we're also going to upgrade any other buildings in the region. So let's upgrade the... Let's see if we can upgrade a building in here. better barracks. All the ports are still on fire. Use our spy here to sabotage the school. Oh, we got detected. Okay, that didn't work. Oh, let's recruit a general too, actually, while we're at it. Nothing over here. I guess what we could do here is we could upgrade the governor's residence. It will help a bit with population growth, so that's pretty decent, I guess. We'll do that. So over here we now have 6 units. You know what I think I'm gonna do? I'm actually gonna cancel. Let's first take a look and see what we have. Okay, so it only has 4 units, which means we can actually take this on the next turn. It's 5 units. It's probably going to be like a militia unit or something like that. I think what I'm going to do on the next turn is I'm going to recruit a general and put it into this army. And see how that goes. So let's save the turn. This is turn 5. Okay, let's see what we have now. Captain Kidd, we don't care about this. We have... Ireland has emerged. And Scotland has emerged too. Yeah, I think the British AI might actually be cucked this game. I think this is over for the Brit AI. Bankruptcy should kick in. And like I said, as long as all these ports remain up in smoke, I don't see how the AI is going to be able to afford to repair these. And if he doesn't repair this port over here, I just don't see how he's going to be getting most of his money back. So, our spy, let's go ahead and sabotage the school. There we go, that works. He's probably going to become better at sabotaging. Yep, that's pretty good. Now we're going to have our first European battle. We have some reinforcements to deal with here. Our army's pretty good, so we're going to be fighting 2 lots of cannons. We could just go ahead and auto-resolve this, to be honest. Yeah, we could just auto-resolve, honestly. But no, we'll play this out. This is turn 6. We'll save it just in case. Alright, let's go ahead on the campaign. So even though they have cannons, cannons are only dangerous if you get close up to them and they activate canister shot. So we just need to be mindful of our cavalry attacks. And if we can get the drop on the artillery, we should be okay. So let's make us just a straight line of infantry. We're going to see how the AI is deployed on the battle, and we're going to react accordingly. So it looks like they've mirrored our composition. We have an artillery piece over here, and we have mortars on the side that are kind of undefended. So the cuirassiers can fire on the move. Just make sure you have it disabled. I think sometimes they can friendly fire each other. So we're going to slowly start marching on the Germans, but I'm going to keep my distance from over here. Oh, actually the cannons are moving. Oh, okay, this actually might give us an opportunity to make a play here. Our units are significantly better, but they do have the artillery. And I just want to see where the mortars are firing. It doesn't appear like they're focusing the cavalry. 2 units of militia. So all our cavalry's making a move. We want to neutralize those mortars ASAP. We have to be careful though, because there's 2 units of militia. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to sprint these guys forward, even though it's going to slowly give them a penalty, because when they become exhausted, units perform a little weaker in combat. But that's okay though. I want to get them into position. So my cavalry's here. I'm going to spread them out so that the militia has a decision to make. Either they'll attack this lot or this one. But my idea here is I want to charge my cavalry and neutralize those mortars as quickly as possible. Keep our general nearby so that we're taking quite a lot of casualties there. I thought we were sprinting, but we weren't. And there we go. We're actually going to attack the unit of militia first. I want to pincer them with both units of cavalry. And as I do this, I'm also going to move my line infantry into position. These guys, we're going to rotate them over. And we've got urban militia. I just want to see which direction they're firing. We're going to get a lot closer since they're firing over here. We can get on the flanks. The militia have immediately broken. Okay, that's actually really good. I didn't think they would break that easily. So we'll move these guys up over here on the hill. We'll take care of the artillery. We'll also keep attacking the militia to stop them from regrouping. And over here we actually have provincial line infantry, or actually really good line infantry early on, so we have to be careful about them. I think we can shoot the general here. So here we've got a nice flank on the militia. That should break very quickly. We got a nice height advantage over here on the musket line infantry unit. We'll take care of these guys. These guys, we're going to chase them down. And these guys are firing at my line infantry, it looks like. So I should be able to close in on this. So here the artillery is actually getting a little close. We need to be careful because if they set up and fire a canister, they're actually going to deal a lot of damage to our line infantry, so we need to keep a lookout for that. Okay, so that's pretty good. I think what I do now is I'm going to charge next into the cavalry. Okay, so that militia I don't think is ever coming back on the field because they have like no guys left. 40 is a very low amount of people. So here I want to be careful. I'm going to put this unit of light infantry on hold fire because our cavalry is right there and I don't want a bunch of friendly fire to take place. I don't know why they're still firing. They shouldn't be firing, but... Okay, so that artillery unit's been shattered. That's pretty good. I'm going to get my cavalry through my unit of light infantry. I have them on hold fire because, again, there's going to be a lot of friendly fire here. Our cavalry's made it through. And now we can turn fire at will back on. We'll wait a bit. There's still a bunch of our boys that need to make it through. And now we can turn it back on. Let's get our guys out of here. They did pretty good. And there we go. We'll send these guys over here. I'm going to keep them... they're very tired, so we're not going to make them run around anymore. These guys are very tired as well. This is a pretty easy route here. Just see where else, what else we have. Oh, these guys actually reformed. Okay, wait, I came back. Oh, we got Grenadiers. This is going to be a little chaotic here. Grenadiers are actually really good in melee, so I don't think I'm going to win this fight over here. Might actually need the cavalry ASAP here, actually. I'm going to need the cavalry to act as reinforcements. These guys are going to get butchered. Grenadiers are really good in melee. A lot better compared to my line infantry. It's not even close. So I need to get my cav in here ASAP. I'm going to rotate my line infantry like this. so I can get my cavalry in through the center. Provincial line infantry is kind of like, looks like they're chasing my cav, I'm not too sure. And now we could charge in onto the grenadiers in the rear, and I think this might be enough to break them. Okay, let's get our cav out of there. So for another thing to keep in mind in this mod too, cavalry for some reason, like their charge isn't that amazing. So they're good, but this is probably the mod where I feel cavalry is easily the weakest thing in an army. So even though like these guys have a really good charge bonus, they don't really break units that effectively. Now we did make that unit a militia route at the beginning of the battle, but like that's militia, that's to be expected. And same thing over here, right? Like urban militia, like that should easily be a route. But just keep in mind that we got a rear charge here, even though they're very tired. Like you have to do a lot of cycling back and forth between charges. So now we're gonna charge back into the grenadiers because yeah, we are taking a lot of casualties here. This should be enough to... It's going to be some friendly fire too, I think. Okay, and that should be a break. Alright, let's get our guys closer. There we go. That's a nice route. Get our general a little bit closer so that he can buff our units. Not really buff them, but you know, at least motivate them to fight a little longer. These guys, let's rotate them this way. Oh, he's actually charging me. Oh my god. Just trying to keep track of my cav here, because let's get our guys out of here, because these guys are going to get ready to fire. We don't want to get any friendly fire here. Let's chase these guys down. So what I want to do is I'm going to get these guys really up close, because I think these guys are definitely going to rout. They're down to 40 guys, which isn't really a lot. These guys, we would put them on hold fire now. There's nothing to really be shooting at. Yeah, there we go. That's a rout. And let's try to get even closer. So one thing you'll notice too about the mod, maybe you guys didn't notice it, but you don't really need fire by rank is helpful, but if you actually notice, everyone in the line is actually firing. So the guys in the rear are actually firing at the same time as the guys at the front. So you don't have to spread your line as thin as possible. As long as you're 3 stacks deep, you should be always able to fire. And these guys are gonna get absolutely butchered here. So what we're going to do is we're going to switch on to melee mode. We're going to charge these guys down, because this is actually this was actually a reinforcement. It's not a garrison that was in the town. And so this, we want to make sure we wipe it so we don't have to fight it again on the campaign map. So what we'll do is we'll have our cavalry charge in here. Now you want to be careful, because cavalry can friendly fire friendly units when it's charging. So there we go. So I'm gonna make sure this unit gets completely wiped. Okay, that's good enough. We can quit the battle. So we now have Alsace Loraine back in our hands. And I don't think we took that many casualties. Yeah, we took 1,000, but you know what? All things considered, you know, we have like an we've easily almost have like a double KD, so it's pretty good. And there you go. We killed the 3 units that were, or the 2 units that were acting as reinforcements. So that's really good. We can go ahead and repair this building. We can now upgrade the smithies in Alsace Loraine. What I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna move my, I'm actually gonna keep my missionary here because I want to increase the level of Catholicism. But the next bridge that we're gonna go to block is going to be the one over here in Bavaria. Now, Bavaria should fall to the Austrians pretty soon. And once it does, we'll move our missionary into position here to slow down the Austrian advance. So now, let's take a look at the units that have a lot of kills. And let's see if we can start, you know, merging them together. Pretty good. Also good. Let's put these guys here. I think that's pretty much it. It's gonna cost 3,000 reinforce. Okay, so I'll tell you what. We're gonna pause the construction of the smithies. Let's reinforce our army first, because we need to make sure our army's reinforced, because like I said, we need to take out Württemberg, and then we have to deal with the Austrians. So it's very important right now that we make sure this army is always replenished. This building's still up in flames. This one... we could do this, I guess. There we go. Now it's completely grayed out, which means it's taken full damage. Oh, we have a navy over here, actually. This is a pretty easy navy to take out. Do I have enough points to move back into a port, though? Let's see what we can do here. Oh, I actually lost 3 ships. I guess I could have played that, but... we'll have to see. Something tells me... oh, something tells me Great Britain's gonna attack this. This might have been a mistake. We'll see. We'll see. We will see. Alright, let's upgrade to a Royal Observatory. And we're gonna have our trade port up in 3 turns, which is pretty good. Take a look over here. Oh yeah, the natives, right? So that's a lot of natives. So what I'm gonna do is I'm now gonna move our navy down over here. Actually, one thing we should do as well, we should actually do this, and we'll do the same thing with the ship over here. And now what's gonna happen is probably the AI will see that the strait's now open, and it'll probably send its army back towards Quebec, which is what we wanted to do. Now there is a missionary over here. And I'm actually going to send my spy to try to take him out. Hopefully we kill him. I really hope our spy doesn't die. But we don't want this missionary to go around and completely switch the religion to something else, because it's going to create a significant amount of public order problems. And we don't want that. We don't want that at all. So there we go. We now have reinforcements over here. We've got 4 units on the way. Over here, I'm going to auto-resolve this. This should be a win. Yeah, there you go. Easy win. Perfect. We'll repair this. We have a unit of militia over here to deal with. So actually, let me take a look here. I think... okay, what I think I'm going to do is... I'm going to cancel these reinforcements. And I'm going to make some... militia. I'm going to make these guys, because I need to deal with the public order issues over here. Because it's pretty clear this area is going to rebel momentarily. And I don't want to have to deal with that. So here I want to put all the veterans together. It's pretty pretty good. Let's replace. Wow, 1,400. That's actually very expensive. -6. I'll have to keep a lookout for that after. Let's see, what do we have here? Agent spotted. Okay, that's not too bad. I'm gonna move my spy around here. I'm gonna deal with this missionary. It looks like he's gonna be on his way to Quebec. Let's see if we got a new minister. Tactician. No, nothing really new. What I will do though is I'll replace him with him, and this is a 4-star. There we go. And we're 5 turns away from empiricism. That concludes that turn. Let's see what the next turn has in store for us. Okay, so the missionary, so there you go. So the army is now coming back towards Quebec. This is really good. That's what we want. So we have to make sure we move this navy back into position. Note of protest. Yeah, we know Dutch Guyana is pissed. We're going to deal with that momentarily. A new city has been built. This is the port of Louisbourg. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a trade port. I really don't think we have to make an actual navy. It looks like the British Navy is like kind of bugged. It's just chilling here. So I think we can just get away with just having a trade port in everywhere. Okay, so this port's actually been repaired. And I'm going to go ahead and sabotage it with my fleet. Yeah, we're going to do this. So make sure the bar is completely grayed out. That's good. We're going to move... yeah, we're going to have to move him here. So we have to accept the fact that we could be getting blockaded by Prussia. I ran out of movement points, so hopefully it doesn't happen. I don't want to be missing out on, you know, 5k of income, but I think it's going to happen though. If it happens, oh well. That's what I get for being greedy, but we'll see. So going back to our army in Strasbourg, let's make sure we reinforce it. Let's see what's going on in India. We got more units recruited. That's good. Let's keep recruiting more because I'm pretty sure we're going to go to war soon with these guys. Let's create a workshop as well. We have a port coming up in 3 turns. Yeah, it's this one over here. Okay, we don't need to see that anymore. Alright, let's go back to Dutch Guyana. -2. Let's reinforce this as well. Got some... yeah, I think this area... yeah, this area is definitely going to rebel. We won't... like, even if these guys make it on the next turn, they're not going to get there in time. So... we're probably going to get a stack of rebels somewhere. We'll deal with it. It's not the end of the world. Meanwhile, over here... oh my god, a native unit actually made it past us. Okay, so let's move our trade ship back over here. Let's block that. And let's deal with this pesky little 1-stack that made it through. While also moving our spy closer to this guy so we can knock him out. This... do we have to play this? I don't think we have to play it. I think we're just going to auto-resolve it here. Yeah, there you go. And let's put our veterans together so that we hold on to the veterancy. This is 57%. We need 2 more turns and we'll probably be up to 100. So far, so good. This is pretty much what we want to see. So in the meantime over here, what we're going to make is we're going to start making some artillery. We're going to make, I'm going to make 4 units of cannon. We're going to go with a bunch of sackers. We can't really make better types of artillery because, like I said, we're not really researching military tech. We could do it, but I'm not a big fan of the negative economic growth penalty in the early game. So I think Sekars are going to do the job. Artillery in this game isn't as dead-on accurate as it is in Darthmod, but it is pretty strong, especially you use it defensively with canister. And so we're just going to get ready for that conflict with Württemberg and Austria once they take over Bavaria. It should happen. I'm most surprised Bavaria hasn't fallen yet. But we'll see. So that concludes turn 7. Let's go ahead and save. We had reinforcements in Quebec, I recall. Yep. Let's move them closer towards here. And that will conclude episode 2. I'm going to save. We're at the 40-minute marker. And we will see what happens. Ooh, that's actually pretty good. Wait a minute. Let me just test something. I'm going to take a look. Oh, that's really good. And now he can be the new naval minister. Oh, wow, look at that. That's pretty good. That is very good. Damn. Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. Okay, there you go. That's turn 7 concluded. And we're gonna see what happens. Oh, that's gonna be a problem. Uh-oh. Okay, so this concludes episode 2. Episode 3 will take off from this turn, and I'll see you guys next time. Ciao, ciao.